Parents and guardians. So the parent that I want to talk to you about this week is Joseph, the earthly father of Jesus. And just a side note, I find it interesting that the Joseph in the Old Testament and the Joseph in the New Testament, God had this thing of talking to them through dreams. I'm sure most people have already made that connection, but I thought it was special. It sounds so cool. But anyway, back to the Joseph in the New Testament, the earthly father of Jesus. So this man was chosen by God and entrusted with taking care of a child who was destined to change the world. And that is a very big assignment. You know, you think about it and it's like, whoa. But modern day parents, if you ponder it, God has given us that same assignment. He's entrusted us with the children that he has given us. He chose us. Because when you think about all the people in the world, all the men and women in the world that God could have chosen to give your children or your child to, he chose you for that assignment. He has entrusted you with the children that you have because their purpose is to change the world. And throughout Joseph's life, if you read Matthew 1 and 2, you will realize that God spoke to Joseph a lot through dreams. From him making a decision whether to leave Mary or not, to making sure that, Jesus was safe, fleeing Jesus to Egypt, and then bringing him back to Nazareth. Hearing God's voice was very crucial in him making all these decisions. And so for modern day parents, it's very critical for us to hear God's voice for our children. We make decisions all the time for our children, right? Is this the right school for them? Is this the right college? Are these the right crowd for them to hang out with? Are we supposed to change neighborhoods? We are constantly making decisions. Should I enroll them in this sport or that sport? Even something as simple as sharing pictures on Facebook or social media, whatever it is. It's important that you hear God's voice. Is this picture that I'm posting even important, or should I hide this for now and share later? Those are decisions that we make every day, and it's important that you hear God's voice for your children. And so I pray that we will not just blindly follow everything, that because this person is doing that for their child, I have to do that for my child. No, God has a specific plan for your child, and it's up to us to tune into God's voice through reading his word, through prayer, through meditation. I'm sure that Joseph in the New Testament, Jesus, his earthly father, had this close relationship with God. Yes, the Bible doesn't give us that detail, but the way that God could talk to him is only somebody who has that close relationship with God. So I pray that you will cultivate that habit of tuning in, of pressing into God, of having that personal, beautiful relationship with him, where he can talk to you about the littlest things. Because as we seek to teach our children, protect them, and just help them grow into the men and women that God wants them to be, it is very critical that we hear God's voice for our children.